a.k.a. white privilege, to the unfair detriment of black students. So they're now trying to customize the school curricula to meet the cultural specifications of black children. So what they're doing is getting rid of the concept of using suspensions or expulsions to discipline black students, because that's racism. This is what they've done. They brainwash people into literally throwing away common sense. I'm a former teacher. When we had troublemakers, white or black, they gave them a choice. They threw them out of the classroom the minute they started to act up. They got in the school marshals. They took them out by the collar. They threw them into detention, threw them out of school for a day. It was a privilege to go to school when I went to school. If the kid came back and acted up again, they put him into a special class for troublemakers. They didn't care what the race was. That's all. And if that didn't work, they put him into a reform school. If that didn't work, they went to prison. As a result, we had geniuses emerge from our public schools. Children who were so bright that they could rise to the highest possible level of achievement that they were capable of. They were not held back by the dummies and the troublemakers of any race. In other words, the dummies and the troublemakers always existed. We had a way of treating them in the old days, which was to isolate them, not glorify them. So why is this all happening now? Why? I mean, you can't figure out what happened to the country? You elected him, I didn't. He is the one who gave license to all of this madness. So let's move on to the other topic ideas for the Savage Nation. Let us see. Minnesota Muslims prefer Sharia law and would rather live in Muslim countries, but they're here. They like the green, Uncle Green. I don't understand why the Minnesota Muslims don't move to their homeland where they can be happy in Sharia law, like the Somalis. Why don't they go back to Somalia? If they want Sharia law and they don't like the white Christian culture, why don't they go back to Somalia where they had it so good? People are mutilating themselves in order to be deemed disabled. Hillary Clinton losing support of women. That's funny. Study shows people are consuming an average 8 hours of media every day. I wonder how much I consume. I consume more than that. Only 8 hours? That's low. I'm more like 18 hours of media. I'm rarely disconnected from a screen. From the minute I stumble out of bed in the morning, I mean, my whole life is a green room. I go from the bed, bleary-eyed. I let the dog out and go right to the computer to look at the news, look at my emails, check my website. Then I sit down and do show prep. Then I do the show for 3 hours. Then I usually take a nap. Then I get up and check the emails and check the news. At night, I usually watch him. I saw a great movie last night, by the way. I got to tell you something. It was Forrest Whitaker, who I think is one of the greatest actors of our time. You know the guy with the droopy eye, the black guy? The droopy left eye. But it was an obscure Jim Jarmusch movie, if that's how you pronounce his name. Is it Jarmusch? Jarmusch? Jim Jarmusch? Jarmusch. 1999. It's about a black contract killer for the Italian mafia in a blown up like inner city. It was shot in Jersey City, but it looked like Cleveland. You know what I mean? When the industry left. So he lives with pigeons on a roof, and he practices the code of Bushido, the code of the samurai. Lives alone, has no friends, and occasionally they communicate with him through carrier pigeon to go out and commit his assassinations. But he's a good assassin. That's the point. Like when he comes in to kill a mafia guy who's with a woman, he won't kill the girl, that kind of thing. You know, the mythology. So the movie is so well done. It was a slow, creepy movie. But I was compelled to watch it for 2 straight hours. I was almost embarrassed to be entrapped by this movie. But I watched it, and it took me out of myself for those 90 minutes or 2 hours. So again, I was in front of a screen for another 2 hours before the curtain fell. So people are in front of screens for 8 hours a day. What else is there? What else is there? I mean, what else is there in the world other than screens? Why would you want to go into the fake world of reality when you could live in the real world of unreality? I mean, what's wrong with you? Why would you want to go into the fake world of reality? The uncomfortable, impossible fake world of reality when unreality awaits us at every turn. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. From now to the end of the show, I'm going to give out free copies for Father's Day of Countdown to Mecca. If you get on the show, if you pass the call screener, you get a copy of Countdown to Mecca. It's that simple. I want to give them out right to Father's Day, then you won't hear any more about the book. It's that simple. It's a great book, good read. You'll enjoy it. Your father will love it. Your husband will love it. Your son will love it. Your grandfather will love it. Your grandson will love it when he grows up and can read. Everyone in the San Francisco area will love it because nobody has described the Bay Area better than Michael Savage. Ever. Ever. No one's ever done a better description of the Bay, North Beach, Chinatown, cafe scenes than me. Ever. That's how good it is. Countdown to Mecca. Let's take a few calls on the Savage Nation. Chris on KSFO. Welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Hey, thank you, Michael. I'm going to ask you for about 60 seconds to make a cogent point, and that is I have a strategy going forward under the pen is mightier than the sword. Your average Joe reads at about an 8th grade level these days. You and I are readers. People don't usually read. Literally, they have the attention span of slightly less than a goldfish. We're at a pivotal point in terms of demographics in that millennials have just overtaken the boomers in terms of percentage in the workforce. And these are people that don't really get most of their information off of mass media. The left has been vastly superior to the center and right at crafting a mass.
I understand they get their information they get their information sort of in hieroglyphics from Twitter feeds, from Yahoo. A little blast that tells them that everyone is homophobic and racist and anti-Muslim. Stay on the line. We'll talk about this in a minute. You are going to get a copy of Countdown to Mecca because I know you can still read. Apparently, you can still read a book. Millennials cannot read books. They grew up on Adderall and Ritalin. They're incapable of reading a book. But we can, and some of us can even write them. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Well, America is a giant lollipop for the third world. California in particular is a giant lollipop for Mexicans who come here to suck off the system for free. And today, their minions in the state Senate, State Senator Ricardo Lara, Democrat Bell Gardens in the Socialist Communist Party, called the Democrat Party of California, just said we're going to give free health care for the estimated 2 million people in the state illegally. He said we're talking about our friends, we're talking about our neighbors and our families who are denied basic health care in the richest state of this union, Lara told his colleagues. The bill would allow 240,000 minors, illegal aliens, to sign up for Medi-Cal and allow low-income adults, meaning Hispanics from Mexico or non-citizens, to get the same services. It's great. It's really nice. It's good to see what a tolerant liberal nation is. Lara said many often forego medical care because of the fear of medical debt. Well, no kidding. So I have to carry their debt now? No kidding, schmuck. I have medical debt, too. When I was poor, I had to pay for my own medical care. You idiot, you. Senator Jeff Stone, Republican Marietta, that's a laughingstock, said the free medical care for illegals only makes worse a shortage of physicians to treat patients on Medi-Cal. This bill would only add hundreds of thousands of patients to the rolls with no one to care for them. So that's good. It just shows you that the tolerance of America has no limits, and fairness has no limits. And a sick man like this, as well as the other creatures that seized power, absolute power, after Willie Brown passed it to them with a baton, are now granting amnesty in the form of health coverage for illegal aliens. Who's going to pay for it? Katzenberg? Geffen? Is Geffen going to take, let's say, $10 million out of it? Let's say Geffen says, I'll tell you what, I want illegals to have health care because I'm such a good liberal. And since my yacht's only 314 feet, instead of building a 425-foot yacht next year to compete with Larry Ellison, I will forego the extra 100-foot of boat, and I'm going to donate $100 million to health care for illegal aliens. Moreover, to show what a liberal man I am, Jeff and I are going to bring illegal aliens on our yachts in the Mediterranean and the Caribbean from now on. Not as workers, of course, or to clean the toilets, but to be equals with us, because we don't want to be the 0.001%. We're going to actually sit down to dinner with the illegal aliens on our yachts. We're going to show them how fair we are, because we're very fair men. Geffen, Katzenberg, Matzenberg, Ratzenberg, and Spielberg. California senator approves health coverage for some immigrants here illegally. Sign up for special health care. This is going to be fun when the liberals go for their Medi-Cal benefits and find out that they were cut back. All of the pompous cafe liberals of the Bay Area, Mill Valley, and the others who read the San Francisco Chronicle as though it's the Holy Grail. They take their finger. You can see them sitting there. They get the paper for free in the garbage can, all crumpled up with coffee on it, usually in a Starbucks, because they won't even buy the paper. And then they try to complain about the coffee being too hot, and then they get another cup for free, whatever. They'll sit and read the garbage can newspaper, the Chronicle, and you could see the finger going down the retirees, mainly retired professors. They read it line by line as if it's the Bible. What's going to happen when these old hippies find out that their Medi-Cal benefits have just gotten cut because of their liberalism? Who will they blame? Well, they'll blame the rich. It's time for the billionaires to pay their fair share of taxes. They'll blame the rich. Get rid of Proposition 13. Raise the taxes on the rich. Anyway. Oh, KSFO Rich. Chris, you've been holding. You're back on the air. Go ahead. So you say libs are creating better messages. The millennials are morons who can't read. They have a attention span of about 8 seconds. They get all their messages from Yahoo and Twitter. What else is new?
Yes, actually, I lied to you, Michael. I'm not with KSFO. I was in Mill Valley. After being in the Bay Area for 30 years, I moved to Nevada to get away from the stupidity. And after a while, there won't be a place for me to hide. But let me get to my message.
No, there is no place to hide because Obama's bringing in as many Muslim refugees. It's almost like by design. The computer is showing them where there's large enclaves of white Christians, and he's putting Syrian Muslim refugees into those areas, along with African Muslim refugees in the other areas. Now, what is he doing that for?
Well, let's get this straight right up front. You and I are both racist because we don't agree with his principles.
I'm not a racist. No, speak for yourself. Don't include me in your own buying into the system.
Sarcastic, Michael. I'm not.
I don't accept sarcasm. That's false.
All right. So let me get to my message quickly. The left is way superior to the center and the right at crafting a message that sticks. Let's talk about some of them. Bush lied. People died. Romney hasn't paid taxes in several years. That was Democratic dementia. He knew it was a lie and shamelessly said it. Republicans like dirty air, water, hate women, love white privilege.
All right, thanks for the call. Who is this guy? It was a long speech with a bad glottal stop, and he quotes my book, Liberalism is Mental Disorder, and assigns it to Gravel Gertie. Did you catch that on the tape? Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to promote some hag's book who copied everything I ever did, and she still thinks she's cool, 40 years after the point. Still wearing short skirts with the arched eyebrow. I mean, that day is over. She ought to dress up and act a little more dignity. Maybe she could sell the message better instead of dressing up like a vamp. I mean, after a certain age, you cut the vamp act out. You start to look like Bruce Jenner after a certain point. Yeah. So anyway, look. So you know what I did during the break? During the break of the hour, you won't believe this. In addition to boiling soup over on my radio stove, I reheated some soup. I forgot it was on. I burnt the whole stove and the pot. It was delicious. It was from a Vietnamese restaurant nearby from 2 days ago. And as that boiled over, my assistant pulled up. All in 5 minutes, what you can do is amazing. Fed the dog, let the dog out, boiled the soup over, burnt my palate. My assistant, I told you I'm a plant collector. I had been years ago. And my collections are in 7 herbaria around the world. Well, this is my legacy. Forget radio. Radio is one part of it. My small step for humanity consists of my plant collections. They're in the Bishop Museum in Honolulu. They're in the Kew Gardens in London. I know that I sent a set to a herbarium in Germany. I believe one was sent to Russia. At the time, we used to collect 7 samples of all of our plants and send them to 7 herbaria around the world. Now, you don't know if you're not in botany what I'm talking about. This is my small step for humanity by rescuing the folklore of these islanders that live forever in the museums. So let me just finish the story. It's important to me. Just indulge me. So as you know, I'm trying to collect all of my archives, and I'm trying to do a book, and I'm trying to do this and trying to do that. Well, I am actually going to be doing a book on my early journals from 1969 to 63 to 69. WorldNet Daily, I think, and I are going to do it. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it. Maybe I killed the deal. Who knows? But it's going to be my journals with my pictures and my drawings and my musings and the evolution of Michael Savage in the early days, with some pictures of me that you're not going to believe it's